The goal of the California Water Fix is to modernize the state water project delivery system in the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta. In order to improve ecological conditions in the Delta and stabilize water supplies for much of the state, this program represents the first major upgrade to the existing water conveyance system in more than 50 years. This construction sequencing animation is based on the engineering completed. Future engineering phases will further refine the design. Construction would not begin until permits are obtained and activities will be coordinated with appropriate federal, state, and local agencies. California Water Fix would include the construction of 3 new intakes on the east bank of the Sacramento River between Clarksburg and Cortland, near Hood. Each intake would be designed to divert up to 3,000 CFS through state-of-the-art fish screens and settle out sediment before moving the water into the tunnels. Let's take a closer look at Intake 2 as a representative of the construction sequencing proposed for all 3 intakes. A series of slurry cutoff walls would be constructed around the perimeter of the project site to isolate the site from surrounding subsurface water and to minimize potential seepage through and under the existing levee. Wells would be installed within the confines of the slurry cutoff walls and would be operated to dewater this area for excavation. Soil improvement methods, such as jet grouting or cement deep soil mixing, may be used to improve foundation soils and to prevent settlement from the new roadway embankment and seismic-induced liquefaction. Unsuitable soils would be removed to prepare the area for the widened levee and new Highway 160. Initial portions of the intake box conduits that traverse the fill beneath the new, permanent alignment for Highway 160 would be constructed at this time. Once these box conduits are in place, grading for the relocated segment of Highway 160 is completed. When roadway paving and striping are complete, traffic would be rerouted to the new permanent highway alignment on the widened levee section. Once the new highway alignment passes Caltrans final inspections, the traffic would be rerouted with minimal disruption to Highway 160. Construction of the intake structure would begin with the installation of a diaphragm wall within the existing levee crest, located along and outside of the back wall of the new intake structure. The diaphragm walls would be constructed with knockout sections to aid in the eventual connection to the intake structures. The sheet pile portion of the cofferdam would be installed on the river side of the existing levee, and the training walls for the intake structure constructed. The cofferdam would be tied into the diaphragm wall to provide an enclosed construction area. The area alongside the river and enclosed by the cofferdam and diaphragm wall would be dewatered, and the space between the cofferdam and the installed diaphragm wall would be excavated. Next, a series of deep foundation piles beneath the intake structure would be installed, followed by a concrete seal within the cofferdam. The intake structure within the cofferdam system would be constructed. The areas between the existing and new highway embankment and the training walls would be backfilled. If required, the soil between the diaphragm wall and the slurry cutoff wall installed with the Highway 160 relocation would be improved. The remaining length of the intake box conduits would be constructed, and then the grading between the intake structure and the existing levee would be finished. Working within the confines of the previously constructed slurry walls, the remaining landside facilities would be constructed, including sedimentation basins, outlet structure, and sediment drying lagoons. Soil improvements would be performed beneath the landside facilities that may be susceptible to settlement and liquefaction. All remaining landside facilities and secondary buildings would be constructed within the confines of the slurry cutoff walls that were previously installed. This includes the outlet shaft from the sedimentation basins. This shaft may serve as a tunnel launch shaft at some intake sites. The previously constructed slurry cutoff walls would permanently isolate the water within the sedimentation basins from the subsurface water levels that surround the facility. The permanent footprint for Intake 2 is the largest of the 3 intakes at 113 acres. In the final steps of construction, the isolation gates would be closed and the sheet pile cofferdam removed in front of the intake structure, once the intake structure and landside facilities are ready to accept water. Once the project construction and commissioning are complete, the intakes would be operated according to the environmental regulatory authorizations issued for the project. This concludes the intake animation for the California Water Fix project. For more information, visit the website www.californiawaterfix.com.